everything is falling into place for you. Right now, in this very moment, even if it doesn't feel that way, even if your bank account is doing that thing where it sends you little anxiety attacks every time you check it, even if your plans feel delayed, your dreams feel distant, and your life feels like it's running about 3 years behind schedule, I need you to hear this. Everything is falling into place for you. Not against you, for you. Stay with me, because by the time we're done here, you're going to feel something shift, not just in your mind, but somewhere deeper than that, in the place where you actually live. Now let me ask you something honest. Have you ever had one of those days where nothing goes the way you planned, and instead of thinking, okay, this is just a rough day, you spiral into, maybe this is just my life? Maybe you've been trying to get something off the ground, a business, a relationship, a fresh start, and it keeps hitting walls. Maybe you've been watching other people step into abundance, into ease, into beautiful new chapters, and you've been sitting there quietly wondering, what about me? When is it my turn? I see you. I really do. And I want you to know that the fact that you're here, watching this, looking for something that is not desperation, that is wisdom. That is your inner self saying, I know there's more. I know I'm meant for more. And that voice is always right. Here's what I want to acknowledge first, because I think it's important and most people skip over it. The struggle is real. I'm not going to stand here and tell you that your hardships are just illusions, or that you should smile through everything and pretend it's fine. Life can be genuinely hard. Money can be genuinely tight. Doors can feel genuinely closed. Relationships can genuinely hurt. And the gap between where you are and where you want to be can feel so wide that you wonder if there's even a bridge. But here's what I know about gaps. Gaps are where growth lives. Every single thing you've been through, every disappointment, every detour, every delayed dream has been quietly building something in you. Strength you don't even know you have yet. Wisdom you haven't had the chance to use yet. A depth of compassion and resilience that the version of you who gets everything easily never would have developed. You have been in preparation, not in punishment. Now let's talk about what's really going on here, because I think there's a core challenge that most people face when they're trying to step into abundance. And it's this. We have been taught, deeply and thoroughly, to believe that we are not enough, not smart enough, not disciplined enough, not lucky enough, not connected enough, not ready enough. And that belief, that quiet, persistent, deeply buried belief, becomes the lens through which we see everything. It becomes the story we tell ourselves about why things aren't working. And here's the sneaky part. We don't even know we're telling it. It just runs in the background, like an old program on a computer that's slowing everything down. So you might set a goal, you might work hard, you might do all the right things on the outside, but if the inside is running a program that says people like me don't get to have that, or I always struggle with money, or good things don't last for me, then that program will find a way to create exactly the reality it believes in. Not because the universe is cruel, but because you are that powerful. Your beliefs are that powerful. This isn't just spiritual philosophy. Let's get a little scientific for a moment, because I love when the science and the soul agree. There's a fascinating concept in neuroscience called the reticular activating system, and before your eyes glaze over, stay with me, it's actually really good news. The reticular activating system, or RAS, is a network of neurons in your brain that acts like a filter. Because here's the thing, your brain receives about 11 million bits of information every single second, but your conscious mind can only process about 40 to 50 bits per second. So, Your RAS has to decide what gets your attention and what gets filtered out. And here's the magic. Your RAS filters based on what you've told it matters. It filters based on your beliefs, your expectations, your dominant thoughts. So if you believe that life is a struggle, your RAS will find evidence of struggle everywhere. It will highlight every obstacle, every setback, everything that confirms your belief. And if you begin to genuinely, truly shift into believing that the universe is abundant and that you are worthy of receiving your RAS, starts finding evidence of that instead. You start noticing opportunities. You start noticing connections. You start noticing the doors that were there all along that you simply couldn't see before because you weren't tuned to that frequency. This is why affirmations aren't just feel-good fluff. This is why the way you talk to yourself and about yourself literally rewires what you're able to perceive in your reality. You are not just changing your mood when you shift your thoughts. You are changing what your brain allows you to see. So let's talk about how we actually do this. Not in some complicated 5-step system that you'll forget by tomorrow, but in a way that you can genuinely begin today, right now. With whatever you've got, the first thing I want you to do is notice your story. Just notice it. Before you try to change anything, just spend one day becoming aware of the narrative you carry about yourself and money and life and possibility. Listen to the thoughts that come up when you check your bank account. Listen to what you say when someone asks how things are going. Listen to the way you talk about your dreams. Do you talk about them with excitement? Or do you preface them with, well, I probably won't be able to, but. Just notice. You can't change what you can't see. And most of us have been running our old stories so long that they feel like facts. The second thing, and this is important, so lean in, I want you to start practicing what I call the gentle redirect. When you catch yourself in a story that doesn't serve you, you don't fight it, you don't shame yourself for having it, you don't white-knuckle your way into positive thinking. You simply gently redirect. You say to yourself, that's an old thought, and I'm open to something new. That's it. It's not about forcing yourself to feel something you don't feel. It's about creating a little crack of openness, and openness is where everything begins. The third thing is the practice of noticing what's already working. I know this can feel difficult when things feel hard, but abundance is not just a future destination. Abundance is a practice of perception, and it begins with what you already have. Every morning, before you pick up your phone, before you check your email, before you think about your to-do list, I want you to sit for 2 minutes and genuinely feel grateful for 3 specific things. Not generic things, not I'm grateful for my health in a rote, going through the motions way. Specific things. The warmth of your blanket. The fact that you woke up with options today. The friend who texted you yesterday. The small, real, tangible evidence that life is already showing up for you in some ways. Because when you train your brain to notice abundance in the small things, it gets very, very good at finding abundance in the bigger things too. The fourth thing is to speak to yourself the way you would speak to someone you deeply love. This sounds simple. It is not easy, because most of us have a voice inside that we would never, ever speak out loud to someone we care about. A voice that says, you're behind, you're failing, you're not enough, you should have figured this out by now. And we think that this voice is keeping us honest, keeping us motivated, keeping us on track. But that voice is not a motivator. That voice is a drain. And you cannot build a life of abundance from a foundation of self-criticism. It is not possible. You have to become your own safe place. You have to become the person inside your own head who says, I believe in you, I know you're doing your best, I know things are going to unfold beautifully for you. not because you're naive, but because you've decided to be. And the fifth thing, and I want you to really take this one seriously, is to begin acting as though, not in a fake it till you make it, put on a performance kind of way, but in the genuine, embodied way of asking yourself, what would the version of me who already has this do? How would they carry themselves? What choices would they make? What would they say yes to? What would they say no to? How would they talk about themselves and their future? Because here is the truth that I know all the way down to my bones. You don't get to the life and then become the person. You become the person, and then the life begins to match. Let's talk about abundance specifically, because I think abundance gets used in a way that makes it feel like it's only about money, and it is so much more than money. Abundance is a state of being. It is the deep knowing that there is enough. Enough love, enough opportunity, enough time, enough for you and for everyone else too. It's the opposite of scarcity. Scarcity says if they win, I lose. Abundance says there is room at the table for all of us. And when you begin to genuinely live from that place, when you can celebrate someone else's success without feeling like it diminishes yours, when you can give generously without terror, when you can rest without guilt, because you trust that life is always working in your favor, things start to shift. They really do. And the universe, or life, or God, or whatever word feels right to you, it responds to your state of being, not just your actions, but your energy. When you are in a state of fear and grasping and scarcity, you attract more circumstances that confirm that fear. When you are in a state of trust and openness and genuine gratitude, you create a field around you that draws in people and opportunities and synchronicities that you literally could not have planned. Doors open that you didn't know existed. People show up who know exactly the right person. Things fall apart in ways that 2 years later you realize were the greatest gifts of your life. I want to say something now that I mean very sincerely. You are not behind, you are not late, you are not broken or stuck or cursed or unlucky. You are in process. And the process is not happening to you, it is happening for you. Even when it hurts, even when it's confusing, even when it looks nothing like what you imagined. Life is always moving in the direction of your expansion. And expansion is rarely comfortable, but it is always, always worth it. Here is your call to action. And I want you to actually do this today, not someday, not when things feel better, today. I want you to write down 3 affirmations. But not just any affirmations, affirmations that are one small step past where you currently believe. Not so big that your brain immediately rejects them, but just a little further than you currently feel. Something like, things are beginning to shift for me. I am becoming someone who receives good things easily. Money is starting to flow into my life in unexpected ways. I am open to a life that exceeds my expectations. Say these 3 things out loud this morning, this evening, and right before you sleep. Say them like you mean them, or at least like you're willing to consider the possibility that they might be true. That willingness is enough. That crack of openness is all the light needs to get in. And if you're feeling really brave, I want you to comment below, actually do it, and write one thing that you are choosing to believe is falling into place for you right now. One thing. Even if it's small. Even if you're not fully sure yet. Because there is something powerful that happens when we say our truth out loud, when we claim it, when we let someone else witness us choosing to believe in our own life. Everything is falling into place for you. Not one day, now. This is the season of your becoming. This is the chapter where things start to click. The delays were not dead ends, they were redirections towards something better than you originally planned. The closed doors were not rejections, they were protection. And the version of you who is watching this, who chose to spend this time investing in your own mind and heart and belief system, that version of you is already different from who walked in here. Go live like it. Go talk like it. Go make choices like someone who knows all the way down that they are loved, supported, guided, and fully, completely worthy of everything good that life has to offer. Because you are. You always have been. And it's time you started acting like it.